Hi there, Aries. Welcome to a special full moon reading for you for the full moon in your sign. And this is happening on October 13th. And I hope that you have a great full moon because it's in your sign in the first house. This can be a time when you're just letting go of some aspect of yourself. Maybe you realize something that you are doing or a way that you're coming across to others that you need to let go of because it's not working and it's time to end it for some reason. I have been using some other spread for this reading, and I just, on the spur of the moment, decided to create my own spread. And it's so funny because you're the first sign that I'm doing my on-the-spot created spread, and it happens to be your full moon, so that's perfect. Okay. I should probably put it like that. Okay. So, what the full moon symbolizes for your life, what is coming up for you right now, is represented by the Five of Wands. This is a card of competition, combative energy. Because of other cards here, we have a couple of pentacles. I do think first and foremost of the workplace, where you and others may be vying for a certain position or a certain assignment or more recognition from higher ups. And that kind of thing is not healthy because there's a difference between competing in a very friendly kind of a way and what this represents. Although in some cases, from a book I had, they did mention kind of that healthy competition, but I'm looking at it as problematic because when I see the full moon, something coming to the surface, something coming to light or coming to a head. In personal relationships, if you notice that you are fighting all the time, this is another example of that, where it's gone to the next level. It's not just something that's happening once in a while, it's happening too often. And especially since there are other people in that picture, it could be that other people are contributing to the disharmony. In a personal relationship, this would be in-laws or friends. Those are the two main types of culprits that I can see because they have their own agendas. So, in-laws, especially if one of your partner's parents is a narcissist, they are going to stir things up because that's part of the control. They call that triangulation, and that could be what's going on here. And even among the siblings, this could be siblings that are fighting amongst themselves because they have been manipulated by a narcissistic parent. And one of the reasons that they do this is in order to create disunity so that there is no, what do they call that, united front, so that they always have the upper hand. This happens in the workplace, though, too, where you have a boss who is narcissistic, or when I say narcissistic, I'm not talking about some official diagnosis. It's anything that's dysfunctional where the person cannot just relate to the employees in a straightforward manner. There always has to be manipulation in one way or the other. And that means that they employ all these tactics, like overpraising somebody in the presence of others to kind of create that animosity, and then they kind of also make the other person feel bad. It's like comparing people, all these different tactics, kind of confiding in a certain person, giving them the idea that they are special to the boss and things along those lines. And people tend to buy into that and like being the teacher's pet, if you will, in the workplace. So they're willing to do that because they love the special treatment, but they don't realize that they are being manipulated too. So the bottom line is to look at if there's an area in your life where you feel that sense of conflict on a regular basis, and because you're Aries, you may think that that's normal or desirable because, Aries is ruled by Mars, the god of war, and Aries people tend to be more resilient, or I don't even know if I call it unaffected by this kind of conflict, but they might just normalize it. I think that's what I'm saying. How did you get here? Page of Cups. Perhaps you were too, over trusting with somebody, and you allowed them to take advantage of you, take advantage of your generosity, take advantage of your tendency to overlook details. And if you had kind of, I was going to say read the fine print, but that could be just symbolic. If you had bothered to pay attention, you might have caught on earlier about what was really going on. And that is super important, because now you may see the light, but you may feel like, oh, now what do I do? I'm knee deep in this situation. And also the Page of Cups connects with Pisces. So if there's a Pisces person who is kind of in the middle of all of this, then that could also apply. And so the next position is, it's so funny because, I think that I picked this one next. I'll have to find out when I'll replay it to make sure, because then I'll just take down the video. I could have sworn though that the Queen of Pentacles was the next card, but I don't think so. But anyway, what you can do about it, so this is advice. There may be somebody who is, you can go over somebody else's head. Maybe this might even be the head of the company, to gain some kind of understanding about what you can do to take care of this problem. Personally, I don't really like doing things like that. Not only because it goes over the boss's head. I mean, to me, if you're in a dysfunctional environment, trying to get some kind of equal treatment, or get people to stop playing favorites, even if you can do it, it's just going to create more bad blood. And that's not going to help you, because this is all about you being comfortable in the workplace. And so that may not be the best solution, is just to try to find somebody that you can air your grievance with. I mean, it depends. If you really feel like the whole place is chaotic and you don't think that anybody is doing a good job, and you feel strongly that the person who actually owns the business is being kept from that information, and that it's threatening the actual company, because maybe that person is kind of more hands off and they don't realize that the business is being run into the ground because of this chaos in the office place, then maybe you're doing something positive. But in general, I think it just creates more stress and strain. So another possibility is you starting your own business. The king is the highest level of self-empowerment, and even though it's the highest level of a chain of command, it can also be within yourself, where you become the CEO of your own company. And usually Aries people do fare much better working for themselves, because not only are you a cardinal sign, so you are more of a leader than a follower, but also you're the first house, and it's the house of the self. And so it naturally emphasizes the self and doing for self. So that would make more sense to me. Now, isn't it interesting that the last card that I pull is the Queen of Pentacles? And this is a card that is associated with kind of that domestic goddess energy. So this can be like, for instance, let's say you are a female Aries who is, really just tired of the rat race, tired of the dog-eat-dog mentality of the people around you. And even if you are a fierce competitor, you may feel like this is not just kind of competing to be the best you can be, but that this is an ego thing and that you're just worn out by it. And so the Queen of Pentacles can be luring you into a more domestic type of situation. Maybe you end up working for yourself at home. This is connected to the home, but it's also about enjoying the home, gardening, maybe being a stay-at-home mother and cooking for your children and doing the whole homemaker thing, Susie homemaker thing, which maybe a lot of Aries women are just like laughing out loud right now, thinking about that being their next move. But it could be a great balancing act. I mean, not a balancing act, because that implies that you're doing both things, but you know what I mean. That could be a great way to balance your energies, your masculine and feminine energies, because Aries is a masculine sign. So even for female Aries, you have that more masculine, those masculine tendencies in terms of like how you want to live life. However, that's only, talking about the sun sign. It does, you do have to look at the whole chart to really determine a person's acclimation, whether they are better off more domestically than, in the professional, in the outer world, It's so funny because I've never had kids, and I'm a sun sign, I'm a Sagittarian, so I'm a fire sign, masculine sign, and have those tendencies, never had children, but always been kind of domestic. And I have the moon in Virgo, and I have Taurus rising, and I have other Earth in the personal planets. We can be fire signs and still have feminine energy, male or female, that needs to be expressed or at least experienced, maybe for a season, maybe for longer, who knows. But perhaps some of you are discovering that you're not cut out for that, what the Five of Wands kind of represents. And it could be even a spiritual thing. Maybe you have grown a lot spiritually, and you realize the folly of the ego and how destructive people are when they're living in this kind of what they call in yogic philosophy the mode of passion, where they're just like their whole lives are connected with the drama of life, instead of peace, instead of, having a tranquility in their existence, in their consciousness. So anyway, I hope that this kind of resonates with you at this time, because you are having the full moon in your first house, and you may decide to drop that warrior exterior, at least for this time in your life. Okay, Aries, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. Take care. Bye.